Hey guys, welcome to the School of Light. My name is Roy and today we are going to start a new journey which is, as you guys can see, C++ programming. And I would also like to state that this is the first course on my channel. Over the next couple of videos we will learn programming to the fullest extent, although this will be just the basic course which will teach you the basic of C++ programming. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So first up, we will talk about what we need for this lesson. First of all, of course, we need a computer. It can be either Mac, Windows or Linux, whichever you choose is okay. And then we need internet, of course, because you're watching this on YouTube, and we need some softwares to download from the internet. The next thing is the actual software that we're going to use to write our codes, which is Code::Blocks IDE, which stands for Code::Blocks Integrated Development Environment, and of course fully functional brain, because without that we can't do anything, right? Next up is what will we learn in this lesson. Well, I will show you how to download Code::Blocks from the internet, because there are many versions of it. Then I will show you how we will shape this journey of ours so that it can be of use to us, and then we're gonna be familiar with the Code::Blocks environment. In this video I will show you around some basic stuff so that you can just do them more easily for our future programs, and then finally we're going to test a demo program. So with that being said, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Alright guys, I'm here running Windows and mind the snake. Anyway, so the first task what we're about to do is download Code::Blocks, and for that, of course, on your machine, it could be either Windows, Mac or Linux, is the same procedure. I don't have a Mac, so I can't show you right now, but at the end of the video I will show you how to do it on Linux. Anyway, so you have to go to your browser just like this, and once your browser opens, all you have to do is search here Code::Blocks, and once that comes up, the first link you'll see is Code::Blocks. Click on it and let your website to be loaded. Yeah, don't have a very good internet connection, but anyway, so you can see here that Code::Blocks is an open source cross-platform free C, C++ and Fortran IDE. C++, I guess you're already familiar with. Fortran, maybe most of you are not familiar with, but this is a very old language which till this date is being used in mostly research purposes, as far as I know. But here we are only here for C++, but anyway, whichever you download from here, from the download menu, you can do all of these three. So Code::Blocks is open source, which means it's out there open for everyone to use and modify in whichever way they like, and this makes it a more more supported kind of IDE to use. Anyway, once you're on the download page, you'll see this one, download the binary release. You click on it and let it to load. As you can see, it's supported on Windows, Linux and Mac OS. Okay, internet is not very good. Ignore what I'm doing here. I'm just gonna refresh the page, and there we go. Ignore that. Anyway, so when you come to the download page, you will see that there are many options. Which we want to use is this one, Ming W setup, which is the compiler is included with the IDE, and I'll tell you what a compiler is in just a sec. SourceForge, which is the source where we're going to download it from. Once you are redirected to this site, you will see that your download will start shortly, and it will. And let's see, waiting. See, you can either keep or discard. I already have it here. I will just go to my downloads folder. There we go, programs, and see, there we have it. Double click it and it will give you the USE prompt, which gives you the permission, asks you for the permission to install it, and next, I agree, next, and it will install. I'm not gonna install it right now because it's already installed on my computer, so I'm gonna click no, but it's fairly simple after that. Anyway, once it's installed, we are going to open CodeBlocks from here. Click on it, or anywhere here. You can also search like this, CodeBlocks. Now that we have learned how to enter into CodeBlocks and create a new project, we're going to spend some time explaining this code. So we're going to start off at line number 1. As you can see, on the left side there is the line numbers, and on the right side there is the actual code. Now, line number 1 states that # include IOStream inside angle brackets. This line is what we call a preprocessor directive, in combination with line number 3 actually. So what this line means is that we are telling the compiler to include the library IOStream from its own collection of libraries. So IOStream stands for input-output stream, which contains a set of functions that allow us to input commands into the program and take output out from a program. So the designers of C++ actually designed libraries to keep all the functions organized so that it's not under just one header and it does not become big and clunky. So in order to keep the language short and simple, they created libraries. Now moving on to line number 3, we see it's written using namespace std, and there is the statement closer, which is the semicolon sign. Actually, the preprocessor directive includes line number 1 and line number 3. Now ignore line number 2 because it's a space, and spaces does not matter in C++. Moving on to line 5, we see that it's written int main, and following after that is 2 brackets. Well, what this indicates is that we are writing a function, and this function is called main, and it has a return value of an integer. Integers are in C++ and C are denoted as int. The compiler comes up to this point and starts compiling our program. Well, a function must have one or more than one arguments. Even if it doesn't have an argument, it can be just an empty function starting with these 2 parentheses. What follows inside these 2 parentheses are what we call the body of a program. Now inside this body of the function, which is the main function that starts off with this open curly braces, we have 2 lines. These 2 lines are called arguments. Now arguments are just data that can be passed to a function in order to process that data in the function. Usually the function main does not have any arguments unless we are going to pass an argument, which are called command line arguments, so that we can run our program with a set of arguments from the command line. Now on line number 7, we see that it's written cout. Well, cout stands for console output, which means which is a standard function, and this function, what it does is whatever follows after these 2 less than signs, which we call the put2 operator, and prints it on the console. After the put2 operator, we see it's written an open quote followed by hello world exclamation mark close quote. Now within quotes, whatever is written, we call it a string, and a string is a fundamental data type in C++ or even in C. We're going to talk about data types in more detail in the next lesson. Then it's followed by a put2 operator and a function called endl, which is end line, and then it's followed by a statement terminator, which is semicolon. The main function of this argument right here is to just print hello world onto the console and then end it with an end line. If we don't put an end line, then whatever follows after hello world will be printed side by side without giving any new line or gap. So end line is basically a new line. Those who comes from C will be more familiar with the \n, which I will show in the future. Anyway, so moving on to line number 8, we see it's written return followed by 0 and then again the statement terminator, which is semicolon. What this line does is it tells the compiler that whatever functions this int main has, whatever arguments was inside int main function or the main function has been completed, and now it will return the value 0 to the main function or the compiler in this case. What this does is it tells us that this function has completed and our program is completed without any errors. After line number 8, on line number 9, we see that there is the closing curly braces, which indicates the closing of the body of the main function. Now that we have seen what the different lines of this sample code means, we can move on to running and building the program, or sorry, it's building and running. So build means we're going to compile it with our default compiler that has already been installed while installing code blocks, which is the Ming GW GCC compiler. So here on the toolbar we can see that there is the option of build and run. You can also find run if your program is already built, or if you just want to build it, which is build here right now. This is rebuild, which means if you have changed something, you can rebuild everything, clean whatever garbage data is saved as temporary files while building the program. Also, you can find this option in under build here. When you click on it, you will see that there is the build and run. There is the shortcut key F9, or you can say Control F9, whatever suits you right. Once we click this, you will see what happens. Here on the log window, we are seeing that there is passing some commands to build this program, and once it's done, it's running the program. Of course, my antivirus will come up and think this as some weird program, but it's not, and here it is. It shows hello world, and this space you see in the middle, this is because of this end line, which is an enter key. If this was not there, you will not see this. Well, thank you for staying with us through the first lesson of C++ programming course. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next lesson. But don't go anywhere yet, because for those who uses Linux, after this message which I'm giving to you right now, you will see the Linux installation process of code blocks and this sample program along with it. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so I'm here on Linux, which is an operating system, open source operating system. Those who use Linux already know. I'm using Ubuntu 18.04.2 LTS, which is the Bionic Beaver. Alright, so we need to install code blocks. So first we go to show applications, and here we search terminal. Once that comes up, you click on it, wait for it to come up, and once it's come up, you're gonna have to update your software repositories, and for that type sudo apt-get update. Give your password and it will start updating. Once it's updated, you can once the update completes, you have to type sudo apt-get install code blocks, and it will start installing code blocks. If you encountered this error, you have to follow this following step to resolve it. So for that, type sudo rm, which stands for remove /var /lib/dpkg/log, which is the log file, because when we activate apt-get to install something or do any function, it locks your local repository folder. Once you have done that, run the command again, press Y for giving permission, and it will start installing. And we wait for it to finish. Now it has finished opening. We can type in exit to close the terminal, and we can find code blocks on show applications. There we have it under C, like in alphabetical order. Click on it and code blocks will open. Once it opens, you will see this window. It will detect the default compiler installed automatically, which is for us GNU GCC compiler. Press OK and code blocks will run. If you have watched the whole video from the beginning, you will know that this part is very simple. You click on create new project, then console application, then C++, type in your project title, is this hello world, and then select your directory wherever you want to save it. Here, for example, and then we click next. That's the next folder. If you encounter the same error, you have to remember that you have to change your directory to somewhere else, which I also faced while doing this. So we're gonna do it again. And this time when we're selecting directory, we're going to select a more suitable directory, in this case which is desktop, because Linux has a lot of permission problems. So the next part is fairly simple, just the sample program, just like the beginning. And now we click on build and run, and it compiles the program, and there we have it. On Xterm, an external terminal application, we can see our output on the console. And that's about it. Pretty simple, no? Well, thank you for staying with us through this first lesson of the C++ programming course. Hope you enjoyed and hope I could help you enlighten yourself. Until the next time,